Come vape with me. This video is especially for Joan Giffney, and I want to talk about older people and vaping, because in my years of vaping, and I started vaping in 2011, I've met older people like me who feel that vaping is for young people. It's not for old people like us. Well, I believe that vaping is for everybody. So I'll tell you what happened to me. I loved smoking. It was my favorite pleasure. And in fact, I've smoked for 50 years, well, almost 50 years. And then I never was going to give up. I couldn't imagine life without a cigarette. My cigarettes were with me as my friend in high times and low times, peak experiences, family troubles, grief, joy, celebrations, happiness. I loved smoking, and I was never, ever going to stop. That's a point to remember, because a lot of older people decide, well, they're so old already, why bother to stop smoking? And that was my attitude. Smokers were getting punished and relegated to the outdoors and banned from here and banned from there. And oh, the messages on how bad smoking was for you. Well, I was lucky. I didn't seem to have all the things that smokers are told they will get. Furthermore, I brought up all my kids, and my husband smoked then. All my kids, 5, were brought up in a smoking household where both of us smoked. And in fact, and I've told this story before, and nowadays it sounds shocking, but then it wasn't at all. When the babies cried in the night, the first thing I did, if I had to go and feed them, was light a cigarette to keep me awake. So our babies were well marinated in cigarette smoke. None of them smoke. And also, none of them have got any of the dreadful, nasty, horror things that we are told our children will get if we smoke. And actually, I was drinking then too, and I did actually overdo the drinking, and I joined AA because I'm an alcoholic as well. And I haven't had a drink since 1980. So I'm doing quite well on that. I never say I'm a recovered alcoholic, because I don't believe I am. I'm a person that becomes addicted easily. So I'm not a recovered alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic, but I don't drink anymore. So I found that actually that was easier than stopping smoking. I did try once, but in fact I was so utterly miserable, my life wasn't worth living. So I got to the age of, in 2011, I'm now 70, so I can't remember how old I was then, but I'm 70 now, and I haven't had a cigarette for 4 years. And I've had a ball, because, strangely, I only bought an electronic cigarette so that I could go on sort of smoking, pretend smoking, in a place where I wasn't allowed to smoke. I knew that was coming in my future. So I bought a little sort of cigar-like. It was a black e-cig, and it happened to be, luckily, I have a guardian angel, it happened to be one from Jack Vapor, and it was pretty good. In all the menu of cigar-likes that we've got, those were one of the best to start with. So I started like that. And gradually I found, strangely enough, I had better adventures, and I enjoyed vaping more than I liked smoking. So That is the strangest thing. I never in all my life dreamed I would ever stop smoking. But I have. And when I was smoking, there were no videos like this extolling the virtues of cigarettes. There were no groups to join. There were no supportive people out there saying, "Oh, I see you're vaping. I vape too. Isn't it lovely? Isn't it lovely?" as they'd say in Yorkshire here. So it's been a wonderful adventure. And all you have to do is switch the way you think. Vaping is not for young people. It's for everybody who smokes. It's a chance to get the nicotine without the smoke. And furthermore, I can only talk from my own experience. It's been a wonderful adventure. I have thoroughly enjoyed every vape I've had. Though, of course, with vaping, it doesn't end like a cigarette does. So you don't throw away the butt. You always have a device and you vape more than you smoke because the vapor takes longer to get the nicotine to your brain than it does if you're smoking. So you have to be a bit patient. When you first start vaping, the draws that you take might make you cough, but that goes away as soon as your throat realizes it's not getting smoke, it's getting vapor. And then it takes a little while for the nicotine to give you that lovely relaxed feeling. Whereas with a cigarette, you get it almost immediately. It's instantaneous. I remember my morning cigarettes I'd draw, and that feeling would just come over from top to toe. Lovely, relaxed feeling. That doesn't happen with vaping. So I sort of am suggesting you have a bash. Vaping is for every smoker who feels they'd like the pleasure of continuing using nicotine because it's a very therapeutic chemical. It has lots of benefits, nicotine, and especially if you're older, it seems to me we should carry on taking some nicotine. And vaping is a good way to do it. So I hope you have a bash. Try something with an ego battery and a tank. The tanks, I find, satisfy smokers better than just using a sort of look-alike e-cigarette. So I do wish you luck and keep in touch and have a bash. It's a wonderful adventure. You'll feel rejuvenated and young again. So thanks for vaping with me. Go well.